All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our February meeting, Highway Parks and Recreation. Somebody's gonna take attendance on here. Lena, Ricky, got the supervisor, we've got our controller, Jean, Lori, and Linda. Okay, we need a motion to approve the minutes from the January 2nd meeting.
Motion.
And a second, please. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Those are approved. Public comment. I don't see anybody here from the public. Do we any communications from anybody in the public that we need to bring up?
Oh, the only thing I would say, and I already talked to you guys about this, was the suggestion that we look into doing one of the camps as a full day summer camp. I think we talked a little bit about it, and it's a bigger project than it sounds like. So I throw that out there because maybe it's something we will, talk about this year and potentially look into next year for, but I can't remember what you guys, something about the health department or something.
Yeah, there's just other hoops we'd have to jump through, but something I can look into.
Okay,
Totally.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like, I don't remember who I was talking to, maybe Julie said that you guys at one point did look into it, and it ended,
Yeah.
it ended up being like quite
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about that, but I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Sickness.
There is that.
You're gonna wear his hat for today.
I will.
Okay.
And I hope I do justice to his notes. First, highway crews. Crews will be working on trees and resident request lists, patching of roads, basin repairs, and small drainage projects. Number 2 is personnel update for highway and parks. He is a tentative hire for 1 grounds worker. 3 is parks. Crews have been working in various parks during the brush and park maintenance, working on winter operations. And I'm sorry, I don't know any of the specifics, so I can't expand on any of
We're
those.
not kind of talking about what they do in the parks, like no leaves on the trees and stuff. They're able to.
Like
go
cutting
in
back
and
brush.
clean things up,
Yeah.
Cut back brush.
He did say the bike path too is a section that they've started working on, 'cause it's easier when people are not on it.
You were there yesterday, all on the GE part.
Yeah.
Trimming down all the trees.
Awesome.
They had lots of.
Then when it fills in, it fills in beautiful.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
Number 4, out to bid, mowing services for Dean Street Park and Baker Avenue Park. I think this is something we just really.
Actually,
He had a
2-year extension that we went through at the end of last year, so now we have to go back out to bid.
Got it.
So we try to do it, like he tries to do it, when he goes out to bid, that the price will be good for 1 year with the ability to add on up to 2 years.
Awesome.
So that's, I imagine, probably the same.
So that it's up there.
I believe they have put it out to bid. I don't know when the return date is on this.
Okay. Bid extensions,
That's the same thing that I was just talking
Yeah,
about. They
paving
already
and
bid
milling.
it. We'll do the extension on the list for the rest.
got it, okay. Christmas tree pickup, last week's Christmas tree pickup, or this week's, ends on February 7th and will be posted on the town website.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow,
yeah.
get them out.
Tree, we're getting up
That was
there.
There's
quite
still some.
quite a funny posting about that.
It's a little twinkly tree.
it's funny, we won't judge you.
Number 7 is plow and sand. Highway crews have been out 9 times plowing and 8 times sanding since December 5th to date.
And counting.
And counting,
Yeah,
right?
it's really busy.
It has been, it's been a real summer or winter. Surplus items, there's an attached list on the back page. That's for highways and parks. And for town board resolutions, we had the hiring of 1 grounds maintenance worker, bid extensions for paving and milling services, surplus items that's attached, quotes for seed and fertilizer and hydro mulch for use of the highway department. And I also, he had given me, forwarded onto you, Elena, something for finance. Insurance for truck repair for Frank and Sons, $6,495 for compressor for town hall. I'll forward that on to you.
Thank you.
And then 10 is Albert Drive drainage discussion, which I can't discuss because I know nothing about
I can, you can too, right?
All
All right, let's go. Update. So there is like a really bad drainage problem on Alva Road, producing like very thick ice is a safety concern. So we have extra sanders going over there whenever it's cold enough. I know they've been driving through and trying to check on it from now and again. I think that we figured out that was some private work that was done that's
Without a
causing the
permit.
water without a permit. And so that is being tackled. I think we sent a letter out to residents
We
and
sent a letter out and they had to, until I think last Friday to respond, failed to respond. Report as well.
I need the actual, I need more than a verbal. I need the paper for it. Nobody's literally giving me anything.
You don't have
like
the
a
letter?
summary or like.
I have the letter, but I need like the entire, like if I'm gonna go to court with it, I need the entire like application that was not approved and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any of it.
You want the emails that the neighbor sent in or anything?
Anything I can get.
Okay.
The more I have, the better. I got it.
Center.
So as soon as I have that, then I can draft the legal paperwork. Matt or whoever's gonna sign off on it needs to sign off on it and then it gets filed with the court. They get it. And it has to come to court.
Do we know if anyone has been in contact with the complaining neighbor?
We have.
Okay, so he's in the
Karen-
know.
Karen-
Okay, because he did reach out to the county, I think because of Van Antwerp being so close and them thinking it was Van Antwerp. So I just want to give an update to the county too. So-
We've actually had the county help about it as well.
Yeah, they were like making sure that it wasn't like septic or something.
Yeah, there was
right?
concern that the septic systems. Water issue.
Mhm.
The county came out and cited us.
I went by there yesterday, it wasn't too bad. There's no ice on the road, with minimal waters. That was, we stood that right now is not too bad.
Yeah, I think the cold temperatures have been helping to keep it in the backyard and not have it come forward. But once it
Yeah, it's
starts
always when
melting
it
again,
melts.
yeah, yes.
So, the Ball Town Road, and out to the back in this area, you and I had talked about that, where you're coming up the hill there, where I noticed that's ice on the over, stuff like that.
Yes, or
It's not, it's, as you start coming up the hill, you know, to leave the town,
Yeah,
on the right hand side.
that's what it's.
No, we've done Ball Town after. rec.
No, that's why I'm making you.
Rec, you come under.
The roundabout, correct?
Yeah.
And then the other night,
Okay.
where flipped over
This has been a failed septic system
house.
uphill. Yeah,
Okay, well, that makes sense that it's coming right. now.
it's all shale.
Is this going towards
Better than it was. It started being put on the-
Do we have to do anything as far as going to
It
the,
would be county.
okay, do they know? Okay,
I'll let them know again.
awesome.
There's anything for open discussion? I don't know if I could relay back to Ray, but
If anybody have anything for open discussion for highway?
Oh, I guess I could mention this, it's a little bit of your committee too, but, I talked to Ray a couple weeks ago about, looking into cutting back the brush and widening as much as we're able to, Whitmire Drive where that turn is. We had a resident that's come in a few times to try to figure out a solution. I think at this point, he's nervous about the trucks that go down there. And then also there's a school bus that heads down there. The way that the brush is and the way that the road is angled can cause a safety hazard. So we're trying to do some, maybe even just minor things that'll help alleviate that problem. So we're starting there and we'll keep the resident up to date.
Can we just ask them about the flood control things? So that we're ready for spring. There's. But. He has any issues?
and you send them all the information so you can. Awesome. Maybe the second.
Oh, yeah, he'll love that.
Okay, anything else from highway? Highway, all right. Move on. Community programs.
For seasonal employment, applications for all the town pool, have been put on the website, and Zoe, our pool manager who is returning, thank heavens, will be assisting in all the interviews. all the applications are gonna go to her, even existing positions, so we're transparent, everybody gets a fair shot, that's the position, so we think that's a great first step. Letters for all last year's playground staff are going out tomorrow. And that's just asking them if they would like to return, and after that, I'm able to find out what holes we need to fill with junior counselors. Spring soccer registration has opened. The program runs on Mondays and Wednesday evenings from April 21st to May 14th. As always, we're looking for coaches and referees, and anyone who is interested should contact Julie Laura. Resolutions for February will be applying for the SIP grant that just came out, and that's for our concerts and movie night. And I have an added rep leader, which is Zoe, who's going to start working, helping with the pool information. And there was one other thing I wanted to add that has slipped my mind. So maybe when you go, it'll pop back in.
Okay. All right, so the first is Ecos. Last year, they did all the work. They put in a garden that was right at the pool, and they have their plaque. And this is gonna be something more for Ray, but they wanted to put their plaque in, and they're gonna do the work on it. But that's the plaque that's gonna go in. So it's really nice, and it has a QR code which will show them it's all like local. The planting is all native plants, so it's everything that can grow around here. So they came to me last week and have another grant to put in 2 more. And so this is the 2 places, one on the back and one on the front, that they would like. One is right in front of town hall, right at the at the little library that we have out here.
They do the hedges used to be
Yeah.
before the water main break.
They do all the maintenance on it, because it's very simple maintenance. They come in, they have a bunch of volunteers from I think it's the cooperative or something. But they do all the work on it. They just want to get the approval. And the second one is over at Lions Park. And they know that this will be like a water issue, where they'll have to go get the water from up top and bring it, but this is gonna be more of a shaded area, and this will have their shaded native plants, so there won't be as much occupants on this one. It'll still bloom, but it's blooms in a shaded area. So we just need to get approval mostly from Ray.
Yeah, we gotta speak to Ray. I'm not so sure about that location right there in front of town.
Well, I feel like
hall.
it looks uneven because
Like
either side
that,
of the hedges
and, you
too.
know, we have our holiday tree lighting. We set up over here with the hot chocolate and everything, and there's a lot of people and traffic in this
Right.
area here. So I don't know if that's really the best
Okay,
location in
front
front
side
of
of
town
the,
hall.
people.
Probably somewhere over there would be a good place.
Yes.
So that location, I'm not so sure is the best. The one on the back
That
here,
also
that's-
gets sprinkler, watered by the sprinklers.
Yep.
So they just doesn't bother watering them.
Oh, okay, that's not a
What
bad
did
idea.
they say about bees? I know they were saying they try to attract more honeybees that are not aggressive, obviously, but does it attract, how did it work last year?
It was not an issue.
It was not an issue.
No. It was like it's more of a good than anything.
point,
So if it's not by the entrance, that might not invite, so. It's
Traffic,
scary.
a lot of traffic here. Like,
It's the
people
grass that-
Get nervous about it.
Oh, true, ground bees, right?
Those are the ones that seem to get the kids more than anything. But yeah, so this is the only other thing that I do have to talk to Rudy about still is he had said that he could get rid of that let's move the smoking, and that still has to be moved. But that'll be done before I sign. Yeah,
And I did remember what I had to say.
yes.
I had put out this week a call for instructors looking for some new unique programs and already have 2 applications back. So I'm excited. So we can jazz up our programs for this year and have more offerings. So it's good, first step.
And just to piggyback on that, I had Julie send it out to all the teachers too.
Awesome.
So that in case they are looking for some summer stuff and have some ideas about theater or something.
Absolutely.
that'd be
That's a
kind of cool
great
to have
idea.
that. So the second one is the facility use manual that is still in, it's done, but we are entertaining like edits to it. But we do want it on for, yeah, for the end of the month, just because I have to set the fees so that I can get people onto the ML schedules, and if I don't get them on, they won't be able to start booking in March. So if we could put it on.
I can see it electronically. I haven't read it over, but now you're getting a hard copy. I will read it over.
And I can send, if any of the updates when we have our meeting with Erin today, I can send you the updated one right to you. And out to the other town board members, I just wanted to kind of put it out there that we
Yeah.
really need to get this done.
Yeah.
And so with that, piggybacking off of it, we were talking about some of the improvements that the clubs like to make on the facilities in their area. And we really didn't have anything that, was like a building permit, even though they don't need a building permit. So something was like a form that we could look at, that the town, the building department could kind of look at and say, okay, this looks correct, and then they could go and check it. So I created something, and if you guys could take a look at it and see what you think. And I would like Ray to look at it too. So anytime any of them are proposing any work done, that they would have to fill this out first, anything. Yes, anything. Whether it's like, I know that the baseball wants to do something with the dugouts. Would be their form plus the, whatever the specs are, so that we could have Kenny or Tom go out and check it afterwards. Did they put in the, was the footings put in, all that kind of stuff, because we don't have anything on that. So that they have a form also of what the expectations for the club to have too. Because if they don't have expectations, they probably don't know what they're supposed to, be doing. for the
Is this also the voucher? We were talking about having like not a voucher, but something like, instead of having a text message to Ray or a verbal to Ray, something in writing that says, we want to buy, grass seed. So there's something in writing, something, do you know what I mean? So it's not, oh yeah, he said I could do this. So I think it's protects everybody, but is that considered that as well, or?
Well, if they were gonna be putting the grass seed down or something, I think this is more like any work, even if they're asking highway to do it or they want to do it on their own, it's just like a project review almost, like-
Right. But I think that's maybe something I have to.
Only because there's been a lot of he said, she said. So I think if everything's just like, yes, we need, I'm just using grass seed as an example. Or something that's sizable that they're gonna eventually ask for a credit, we have it in writing.
Yeah, I think so. I've been back and forth quite a bit individually with these teams over the last 3 weeks. And to be honest, some of them are kind of getting it, if I could say it that way, which is better than it was last year. But I've also gotten a couple of really snarky emails that have been irritating me. And one of the things that I'll bring up that I know how I would want to answer it, but I'm curious how everybody here would want to answer this question. It was sort of this flippant question that are we renting park space that happens to have fields, or are these sports fields that are in parks? Sort of like, a kind of, why isn't the renting of these parks primary for us to be, dealing with? I think it has a lot more to do with River Road and Avon Crest than it does Blatnick, because Blatnick does have kind of an isolated spot for baseball. That's, arguably you could carve that out as sort of just field space and the rest of it is park. River Road's a little bit more gray area. And of course, that's the one that we get the most complaints about. So I know I would answer that as I don't think that there was a conscious effort by the town to develop sports complexes here. I think that we develop parks and we happen to use them primarily, in my opinion, for recreation sports, and we allow clubs to use them for a fee. how would you guys answer?
No, I love
Perfect.
it. It's because it's a. Creating space for actually about.
Yeah,
Enough that you want to.
I think I know, yeah, I like Brahma's interviews about that.
Like the way you phrase that right there.
That was perfect.
And I will,
right?
Erin, if I could just add to that, because I went this week to another one of the meetings with all, and I officially joined, I'm now an official member of, it's called, I have it right here, the Capital Region Parks Rec Association. And it's awesome because I get all this information and different ideas about doing events and just really kind of cool things. But so many parks are having this issue where they built a park with, a couple fields in it, and not for the reason of becoming a sports complex. And because sports have boomed in the last 10 years, have been kind of taken over as if they are sports complexes. And it's becoming a conflicted issue between residents, sports teams, and so this is happening everywhere. And, so I think getting some clear lines is going to be important for us to do.
And maybe we make a statement to, what we all just agreed on in the beginning of this facility use manual, so we can be very clear. The comment he made was basically the last 4 supervisors haven't been able to answer this question. I thought that was a very bizarre statement.
So I know that's a good.
And I just, I'm glad you have context. I'm like, it was like a dissertation that I received.
So that I have like that.
So, and I'm like, I could not have been any more clear with these groups that we're all trying to come up with something that makes sense and that everybody can find palatable. I don't think that we're asking a ton of money for the fields, but I think the fact that we are organizing it in the way that we're organizing it, which is different than they're used to, is causing a lot of like unnecessary anxiety. I think also I'm like really questioning this whole credits thing, because when I go to look at the budget and we're spending $849,000 on parks in general, a lot of that is labor, and that's the cost we have no matter what. And so if we should be using those people, in my opinion, to be doing the work instead of giving credits to volunteers to do the work, because we already have to pay it. Right. So
They're trying to get credits for everything. So they're like, because they want to mow more often than Ray's guys have the ability to mow. So they want to get credits for that. And we sat down, we had a meeting with them and explained that that's like, we don't have an obligation to do that. And if they want that, then that's on them and not on the town to expend that money. But that's where, they're trying to get, once you give credits, they try to get credits for every single little thing.
So I don't know what the right answer is. I look and I think I totaled $26,000 in total for revenue that we projected based on last year's fees without any of the tournament stuff for this year to come in. And I just said, and that $849,000 does not include community programs. It doesn't include the town pool. It doesn't include the senior center. It is just straight parks budget, right? And we are putting this much effort into getting $26,000. And I'm almost a little annoyed that we've spent a lot of really important time on it. So I think we have to find the best way forward, and it might not be exactly what we want, but we really need to button this up and move on, because we've wasted a lot of time and money, resources on this.
Well, yes, but doing things like this. And
Oh, no,
it's-
not that. I mean, the conversations mostly.
Taking us.
I agree.
And I think what Lori just brought up, because I just got a bill for $3,000 for seed and some cutting edges that is an expected credit, where nobody knows anything about it.
Right.
And that's the stuff
Right,
that
it's like,
it's
It's not clean enough, Jack. It's too-
and Ray's like, he went through his emails, he's like, I don't know where this is coming from. So these are like, and if going forward, you are requesting to use, Kentucky Bluegrass seed, but why? Like, and why do we need to pay for that? Those are the things I think if we have a request sheet, that they have to fill out, then we can say no.
It protects both parties,
Yes,
so it's
I
not,
think
I'm
so
not
too.
just trying to
No,
protect
I
us,
think it's
yeah.
great.
And I tried to,
So clear and concise is going forward is gonna be the best.
I'm just seeing this for the first time.
Yeah,
This proof of insurance has to have the town listed as an additional insured or if we have anything else. So if we can add that language,
thank you.
that's our preference.
It needs to be,
We're, it's as an insured.
it needs to be put in writing that no credits will be given without an authorization.
And I think that's in the
That's not in
facility.
there, it should be.
And that needs to be in here. No credits will be given
It is in
without
there.
prior authorization.
That's true.
That way,
Unless we
they
wanna
go
do
buy
it
$3,000 worth of seed and didn't get prior authorization. And that's on them.
I tried to explain that this is $3,000. That is $3,000 that inevitably comes off of our revenue line. And the way that's balanced is it goes right back to the taxpayer. So now we have the taxpayer who's paying, what is it, $822,000 for parks. And they barely get to use a lot of this park space. And we're asking the clubs that use it very often for a small amount of money. And why are we taking $3,000 off? I guess that is what I'm
I
thinking.
think our obligations are based,
Yeah,
and then above and beyond.
I guess I
I
just,
the Taj Mahal, you can have Taj Mahal, that's gonna be.
the struggle that we're having
Budget.
is that every team is thinking, I mean, and I don't want to make this sound like they're not doing something that's great, because I think the fact that they volunteer their time and they work so hard on esports is fantastic, but it still is not representative of not even close to the majority of the people in town. It's a small group of parents and kids. So I'm trying really hard to balance this, but every time we have a conversation, I have 100 side conversations, and it is time consuming. And I don't think we're going to come up with something that they are going to love anyway. And I think the credit thing causes more work for us. And so I'm trying to figure out a way that we don't do the credits. To be honest. I don't think we should go through addendums every year, because I think it's too much time for $26,000. I feel like that's where I'm at. We have wasted a lot of time on this. So, and I almost feel like that's in some ways might be purposeful on their ends. I think that they know
Do you have
this.
a conversation with them?
Oh, yes.
You have, I mean,
But that's like, then it becomes, if they gang up and they all have their own opinions, and I'm not saying that their opinions aren't factored into this. If you go, one of the examples I had is Aframs right there. Do you know how much they charge for field space? It's $85 an hour, and you rake and line your own fields. We are charging $25 for a 3-hour block. I feel like that pretty much incorporates credits.
Yeah.
And
You get to a certain point where the conversations are done and you guys have figured this out, so you are reframing it, period, end of story. I just think you have to set down those guidelines, and that you have good examples of why you arrived at this, and you should not feel apologetic about that.
yeah, no, it's not even
And
an
I don't think you're
apologetic.
being hardcore about it, I think you're being reasonable, so. At some point,
It's so funny because we can sit here and it makes sense to us, and then the weaving in of other factors starts happening. And the gentleman who had emailed me had said, we're charging this exorbitant amount of money. He said, even your examples that you gave are showing that you charge too much money. And I'm thinking, I have no idea. The city of Albany even charges $25 an hour. We're doing $25 an hour.
right,
So I don't know what is going on or why. I don't know. I guess I think that they're not capturing the fact that every taxpayer is paying for these parks, and we just keep asking them for more and more and more and more for small groups of kids sports. So I agree with Jean that this needs to get buttoned up, and I would like to see it done for the meeting. I think in the past, the groups have also somewhat threatened us with kind of like veiled threats of going to meetings and causing chaos and going to the press, which happened last year. Obviously, I don't want it to go in that direction, but yeah, at some point we have to button it up. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's been a fun couple of years.
Yeah, it's the sad thing is, sports is my absolute passion, and it's
I tried to explain that. I go, I came in here
I
thinking,
love
geez, we
sports.
should all play for free, but then I'm looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars these teams are making off of tournaments when they can't use the parks, like, this is problematic.
I think that's it. Oh, and the tournament. So, and the last one that I did is, to kind of, I don't know, but, is I made a tournament one also, because we have been having mostly with softball, but a little bit with lacrosse and we haven't had a football one yet. Is we didn't have a tournament application. And is definitely needed. So this way we'll have them fill this out. I also have put in, I believe in the facilities use manual that we're limiting it to one a month. Because once again, the fields are being inundated and that we aren't allowed to rent pavilions, and River Road is one of our biggest that people like to rent, and hopefully, Matt, if it's what's rented, then it'll be even more wanted to be
Right.
used. So we're looking at only doing one in June, July, August, and September. I don't believe they do one in August, but they'll have to fill these out too, which will also trigger, depending on how many that they might need to, depending on the parking, because it's always been an issue too, depending on the place. And also up in, the lacrosse too, just to have them be more mindful of their parking. So they're going to have to give us a parking map of how they're gonna do it and that kind of stuff. It just, once again, it cleans it up a little bit.
But the police aware that something big is going on, yeah.
So I'll be giving this to the police so that they know what's happening.
Well,
And
even Ray too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this in case.
Oh, that's what he
He's
already
left
knows.
around on it.
Contact them weeks in advance.
Yeah.
so this way, and also with the porta johns, because that was
So that's
it'd
what I
be
was-
last year.
On and put recommended, I feel like then that makes it discretionary.
No, it does say required in facility use, doesn't it?
Well,
Well,
I
it
put
says it
one
required
per
in facilities use,
50.
it's required.
I wasn't sure because the language even on the porter body says recommended, so I wasn't sure if I could put required. That was-
This is what, we have an issue, especially with River Road,
Yes.
where there was a tournament and they did thousands of dollars worth of damage and Ray had to come and it created a whole thing. So I think it should be that they are required and therefore if they fail to get those sort of guns and then we have an issue, it's a violate. But if you put recommended, then there's no violate.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if I put recommended and they told me how many they were gonna have, then I could either approve or not. So I wasn't sure.
I'm just giving.
No,
That's my
this is-
recommendation.
This is why, that's fine, I will put required, this is why I wanted to bring it to you, for you to give me the legal yeses and nos. That I-
Required.
Yes, that's fine.
That's required.
You'd rather have them have more than they need.
Oh, yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, because I went on
What's
the,
gonna happen is they're just gonna give you a low number anyway, so that
yeah,
requires a stronger language.
There's numbers, you can probably get it from that.
Well, that's
group
right.
that you just,
well, I went on the Porta John and that was the.
No, I'm talking about, they're gonna tell you, oh, this is one
Yeah.
per 50, they're gonna say, oh, we're only gonna have 100 and they're gonna end up with 250. So that they only have to provide two, that's what,
Well, there's always
just
just
from
one.
my experience with these clubs. Oh, they're gonna
yeah,
do
but that can balance out with their parking too, okay? How many cars you're gonna have, where are you gonna park? And when we find out that that isn't the case, your point, they told you 100, and there were 300 people, okay? Now you're in violation of the agreement.
And that's in there.
So what happens when they're in violation?
We don't know, because.
Well, we have the strike, we have the strike rules.
Six orders, yeah, that didn't go over well, but it did get us to where we needed to be ultimately.
And we have, so in the facilities use manual, when you all look at it, is we have a 3 strike rule now in there. So, and it's, each one of these things have a violation to it. And so, I mean, I've tried to really make it so that it's very clear for everybody as much as possible, but I'd love you to really take an eyeball to it.
If Ray strikes you out, then we're gonna have to put in writing every time they're striking.
Yes. And I think that's
That's
important.
documentation.
Yeah.
I think documentation even if it's like communications in written form, like you guys were talking about, a lot of things have been done verbally over the years and then, you know, they can't remember who they spoke to or who they spoke to can't remember that they spoke to them. And like, if the more that we can have documented in writing, then the more I think we can alleviate some of the issues that we had.
I agree. All right, that's the end of me. All that happy news.
Yes.
It's a little long.
For team,
No.
senior program update, Linda.
Senior program updates, okay. We have a busy calendar, so I'm not gonna read through it for you. I'll just point out, a couple of things that seem to be really popular. Tom is our computer guy. He comes, the first and third Tuesdays of the month, and he is traveling for February, so we do not have computer class, but we have the facility. So everybody's welcome. If we can help you, we will, but he's the guru, so that's a kind. If you want to wait for him, that's fine
There's a
too.
lot of like forgot passwords and stuff.
No,
Really?
no.
Oh,
And,
good.
and no, a lot of people are very fluid with
That's
whether
awesome.
it's a phone, less on the iPads, more on the laptops, setting up
That's
the
awesome.
laptops. In fact, we are going to have, we invited the Albany Guardian Society to come, and they're going to do a class on how to use your iPhone. And they're going to try and marry that off with not only the use of the phone, but also the camera. So that was a request that came from our folks and Albany Guardian Society. It just dovetails.
That's
So we're
awesome.
really grateful. Yeah. We also have, just because today's weather is crazy, doesn't mean tomorrow's Alzheimer's Association isn't on the docket. So at 11 a.m. we'll be there. And Megan is fantastic. So if anybody needs any questions answered or any dots connected as far as Alzheimer's support, we are there. We do have an SAS workshop on Saturday, the 15th, which I would say it's actually still like drawn. So that's kind of cool. We don't often do that. So if anybody's interested. And then, so that's, but mostly the calendar, it's online, it's there. If anybody wants it, please, or if you have any questions, please feel free. I will make note of the fact that we are unofficially open on Mondays. So we're 3 days a week. And that just kind of started organically, and it's just become a thing. So we start the day off with office hours and we close with mahjong and art. So we tag team, Robin and I in the morning, and then each comes in and closes. Throughout the day, folks kind of weave in and out for variation of like pickleball, qigong, exercise. So like this past Monday, we had 49 folks there on Monday.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so,
fantastic.
and that's just kind of came about. So, but we're there, so why wouldn't we? So, yep, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are our official days, which then brings in the element of the bus for transportation and the meals. So, what else? Eric Amberger asked us to do an announcement, and we were able to get it on Facebook, in our quarterly newsletter, and on the website. So he is taken care of. And that was, if anybody has any questions, feel free to give a buzz. It was just about senior discount stock.
Okay.
And then tax prep. We did work with a contact of ours. He's with Catholic Charities, but this is run through the United Way. And it's very hard for people to find tax prep. So if anybody is hearing anything, if you want to shoot that information to us, we would be greatly appreciated. It's getting harder and harder for people to find out to do their taxes. He did have an opportunity. It was a very small opportunity. We sent it out to our senior emails. We got 4 replies. We connected those dots. So one will be at the Schenectady Library and one's at the library in State Street. So if anybody wants that information, it is in the newsletter on the website, or just call us and we'll send you that. Let's see, the exercise classes. Exercise classes are just super popular. We average about 15 to 25 people. And our little Connie, she just amazes me because her numbers keep going up. She's 90 years old and she does our Tai Chi at 10 o'clock in the morning. It is one of the most popular classes. You met her, Kara. She was going strong. You do not get in her way. Edie has about half of our participants on rep 1. So, which is really nice because then if there's a schedule change or what have you, it makes it easier for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. And there's some overlap with, between the classes with attendees. So while we also attract like one-offs, you know what I mean? So some people overlap and they do, they may come for the day and pick up a couple classes. Other people just come and go and they fit us into their schedule. So we cast a wide net that way, which is good. Our Mahjong tournament, we're doing our second annual spring tournament and it's going to be Saturday, March 29th, which is kind of exciting. Seems to be very well received. So continue to do that for as long as we can. Our quarterly newsletter went out, so it went townwide. Thank you very much. That's such a huge help. And if anybody has any questions, please shout or suggestions because we'll work it in for the spring. I got some really good news. And I'm really excited about this. So CDPHP emailed us just the other day, and they will be supporting us again. And this is money that's for this is for our food and our exercise programs. And then Trinity Health also weighed in. We have they are also supporting us for exercise. So I'll bring you all of that.
I'll need it for resolution. You have to accept it via resolution.
Okay, great. The other good news is that I had approached the co-op. They do, they call it something different, but it's in essence, it's a roundup program. And I asked them if we could partake in that and they accepted us. And it ran for a while. It ran like July to September. So, and then before the holiday, Shannon and I finally synced up. They actually were able to earn $3,000.
Wow, that's
Now it's
great.
in kind, and after talking with Shannon, because her priority is to really get this money to the people who the cause was for. So we decided probably the best way to do that was to do it in the form of gift cards. So she's going to issue those to us. We're not going to take them all at once, but we just take a couple lumps over the course of the 12 months, and we're going to put it right back into the hands of the seniors. And so we've talked about a couple of different ways to do that. And we can keep a record of that. Again, I wanted to talk to you about that just to make sure
Okay.
we're
Yep.
doing everything we're supposed to do. But that was a lot of good news. So, and it helps us quite a bit.
Do we have to accept that as a donation?
I saw that look.
Yeah, like I mean, it's
How do we
just-
handle that?
This is a bearer of bad news. Gift cards are always a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll make sure we give that explanation too. We
There
should
was
talk.
kind of no other way to do it.
No, I
in
think it's
order
a
to
great
get
idea. It's just like, let's make
But
sure
it's
there's
for
no.
us to accept it. It's, yeah, we have rules and regulations.
But then also to accept it and then give it out, okay.
I don't know what the ideas are, but I guess we'll have to talk about it. See it then.
Okay. We just gotta dot i's and cross t's.
Okay.
But I have something kind of, we should talk to after this meeting. Where I have a call with the, food bank. So I met with them last month. We were talking a lot about Gershon's and about, wanting to subsidize as much as we could of those meals. And kind of, this has been sort of like a piece together conversation about pockets of town that really have need, but because we're constantly in this bucket of higher income per household, we don't necessarily attract programs like that. And the food bank, this is a great example. They do it at the school. They have a small pantry that's a part of their version of the backpack program, which is Niski Now. And that's kind of it. And so we've got some school, and that doesn't even cover the parents. It's just like the school aged kids, and like maybe some of the pantry stuff can help those families. But the seniors, there's nothing aside from the Gershon's thing and this co-op thing. That's kind of all we have going. So I reached out to them. I said, here's the situation. I don't know how we parse data like that to be able to see where pockets exist of people in need, but they did know how to do that. So they pulled some data for us. They're going to go over it later. It might be a situation where because of our numbers in Niski, we won't necessarily qualify for a subsidized program, but their unsubsidized programs, meaning something we would either have to pay for or somebody else would underwrite for us, are not expensive. And it would be, setting up something like a senior pantry at the senior center where it's open a certain number of days. People come in and just shop for free. And it's just food that gets provided by the food bank. They deliver it. They can provide volunteers, but I said we could probably find volunteers ourselves. Those are just some of the ideas that they were throwing out there that I thought maybe could work. So we're going to talk to them, see if we qualify for anything. And if we don't, we can maybe talk through something that might work. But I'd be sort of curious to see what the numbers look like as well, because we do talk about that. And I don't know if it's like one off, two off, or if there are like clusters of people that we could help in that way. So, more to come on that. And I hope you guys will be able to jump on the call too, just so you have.
I'm
the
thinking about
information.
this
The
now.
space, the tricky part is where.
And you don't think there's space at the community center?
Not right now, we use it all, so.
Good office space there that, right? I would hate to,
Well,
I would hate
we
to
can talk about
display.
that.
We
Yeah.
can talk about that,
We can
there's
talk about
space,
that
but
in
it's so
allocation.
important, that's up to you.
Yeah, I mean,
And then, yeah.
that would be a natural place for it, because if we're bringing seniors there for programming anyway.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you. So I think that's about it. We are, I'm just gonna talk to Josh, but you can redirect me if that's better. We need a Wi-Fi booster in. We have dead spots and it's in this day and age, you just can't function. That. So if we could, it's at the one end, the lower end of the building. And so when you get up into the higher, like sometimes for exercise, if we're doing, virtual or whatever, it's, we can't get the iPads to
Right, exactly.
just, stuff like that. So
I think that's an Amazon thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought I have it all over my
You still
house.
plug it.
Yeah, you just plug it in and it
boosts. Can you?
super easy, yeah.
Okay, and that'll work with the system that we have there now?
I don't think it's very sophisticated.
Okay, really?
It's very high tech, but
I would be pleasantly surprised if it was.
Talk to Josh about that? That's for you? Okay, thank you.
super easy. Over the senior center?
You have it up at the, he ran one from the pool to the pavilion. Yeah. But we don't have it.
But this is just one that
This
you
is
plug
what
right
it
in.
is.
Yeah, some of them just go right into that outlet.
Yeah, super easy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It should be okay.
Yeah.
He might even have some for all I know, but
Yeah.
you would know it's,
I'll ask them today.
yeah.
So those are the broad strokes, and if anybody has anything, just ask.
Anything else? Okay, our next meeting is March sixth, 8 AM. Everybody okay with that? Okay. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Adjourn. Thank you, everyone.
I'll just say motion and.
I just write on you that it loud.